Hello. We're going to do a lesson from the autobiography of W.B. Du Bois. It's a great book. And you're lucky some of these lessons you're going to get for free, but to get the other half or to get the complete courses, you're going to have to go to my Patreon and or my Udemy page. And I'm going to put on the course tier of my Patreon, I'm going to put support group with issues and a space where we can talk about things and work things out without trolls and crazy outsiders. All right, let's get into this. In the center of Europe lies Germany, long a pawn of France, then a plaything of Napoleon, but under the Hohenzollerns, a mighty empire seeking European leadership. I might have said that wrong, but overreaching itself, it is overthrown in the First World War, groveled in bankruptcy and distress until Hitler roused it to frenzy and drove it to attempt world domination on a scale that frightened humanity. The Soviet Union and the Allies overthrew him, but refusing further alliance after the war, the Allies tore Germany into the United States led. France eagerly cooperated, and Britain could not hesitate for fear of offending the United States. But center and spark of the whole scheme was big business. The German cartels, the French manufacturing and mining corporations, and the interlocked banks of Britain and America were united in imperial enterprise and determined to make a new Germany which will restore the plan to dominate the world under Western control. To these great corporations were added the trade unions of Britain and of the United States, who believed that their high wage depended on the profits of big business from exploitation of labor and seizure of materials in colonies. They tried to take control of the new colonial unions at the Paris meeting of trade unions in 1945, but failed. Eventually, however, they split the unions into two groups of capitalistic and communistic organizations, while the African unions called a Fifth Pan-African Congress in England. This meeting I attended and presided over. And it's really time that people start to realize that whatever reason you join the military for, and in the United States, it's done for people to get good credit, for people to go to school, for people to be able to buy a home. The military buys a home, helps you buy homes. You don't pay anything. Wars are fought for industry and colonialization. And it doesn't matter about your camaraderie with your friends, and it doesn't matter about lifelong friendships, partnerships that you make because you served in the military, or this brotherhood and sisterhood or unity that you have. I've heard people give the military all kinds of credit for all kinds of things, and they don't even acknowledge that wars are fought to keep the powerful in power, to keep the ruling class in a ruling position globally. And this is just this disconnect from reality to me. I can find it mind-blowing, but it's one of the reasons why I have the Conderson Center, one of the reasons why I do these lessons. Because there are people who know what's going on and what is. And when you go to your family and friends and you try to explain to them, okay, I understand what it did for you personally, but that's not what it's doing. And they look at you like you have two heads. You need spaces where you can go and be. You can't be an outcast all your life and stay sane. You gotta have, must have spaces. And reality is asserting itself with things like climate change and causing so much destruction, causing us to really question where we put our resources, and causing us to question the United States military budgets. People are starting to say, wait a minute, you sent $100 billion to Ukraine to fight, and the United States is literally falling apart. It costs $20 billion to end homelessness in the United States. You blew that at a time when homeless people are being killed, homeless people are attacking people, mentally ill people are walking the streets. They can't get any help. I think something like someone said it would cost 14 billion to do healthcare to help the mentally ill, or to have a healthcare system that really works, which includes mental illness. Don't quote me on that, but imagine this. Imagine if you just took some of the money that you sent to Ukraine and you just ended homelessness. Can you even imagine that? You walk out in the street and there's no one sleeping on the benches, no one sleeping in the train stations, no one sleeping in the bus stations, or at least it's rare. Imagine it, yeah, it would be no one if you did homelessness and mentally ill, because if you did homelessness, that would be part of it. Taking a mentally ill person, giving them beds in a institution, in a setting that can help them to get on their feet. We've been so used to it. I struggled with homelessness as a child and still did up until very recently. And only thanks to the housing voucher program in New York City, which is a whole nother situation I'll get into and a whole nother set of lessons. I'm not on the street anymore, but that's only guaranteed for 3 months at a time, a year at a time. So with $20 billion, 1/5 of what you sent to the Ukraine, you could end that whole situation. Which you probably could end petty theft. You can end so many things. And the United States won't do it. And the people who have people in the military, or people who served in the military or continue to serve and who want to serve, won't do it. And but we need to start thinking in a different way. We need to start really imagining a world where these pathologies don't exist. And I'm not talking about a perfect world or utopia, just a world where you don't have to step over somebody, or you can't sit on the subway because there's people sleeping all over the benches or the seats there. Can we imagine that? That's all I'm asking. And again, DuBois is pointing out where you spend your money, who's in control of things, and why we function the way we function happens. So I'm glad to have this book. I don't know how much longer we will have this book, but I'm glad to have it. And please enjoy these lessons, and enjoy the platform, enjoy my space, enjoy the courses. And until next time, be safe.